Hello, I'm Councilwoman Dr. LaShawn Bird-Danley, and I have here with me with our continuing moments of Black history of the city of Douglasville, my colleague. I'll let him introduce
Yes, I'm
himself.
Councilman Sam Davis, and I'm glad to be here this morning.
All right, and Councilman Davis, we have an honorary guest with us, our friend Terry Harper. So today, our Black History Moments, we will be discussing and conversating with one of our favorites, lifetime Douglasvillian, Terry Harper, who played for the Atlanta Braves, and we are so excited to hear about his story, things that he can tell us, how being an African-American male during the time that he played for the Atlanta Braves, how was it then, how is it now, and how is it in the future. So, Terry, welcome.
Well,
welcome
very
to
much.
our
Welcome,
Black
Terry.
History Moments.
Thanks.
So tell us, is it okay if I say Terry? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell us, Terry, how did you get into just having a love for baseball?
Well, you know, when we come up, Sam's dad had a team, and I used to be the bat boy.
Okay.
And Alton, Barbara's husband, he played. So I used to tag along with Barbara and Alton to all the games, and I was a
Okay.
bat boy.
What was the name of the team?
The Winston Pros.
The Winston Pros.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And you know, they played on Sundays, and after church on Sundays,
Yep.
that's where everybody met, was at the ballpark.
So you played at the ballpark in Winston? Is that where you played?
No, I was a bat boy.
Oh, you were the bat boy.
Uh-huh.
So what does the bat boy do? Just
You know, when the guys go up and hit, well, I run up and pick up the bat and bring it back.
Okay.
And so, you know, I was just have to be on the field.
Councilman Davis, your father started this team.
Well, it started years ago with, I believe, Thurman Zachary.
Okay.
Started the Winston Pros with Alton, all the neighborhood young men. You had to go to church. Well, when my dad started, well, Zach started, and you had to go to church. It was after church. All the teams came after church.
So, Mr. Thurman Zachary, your father, Jesse Davis, and with Mr. Pete Dobbs, was he
Mr.
also
Willie
involved?
Dobbs, yes.
Yep.
Wow. How old were the baseball players?
You know,
They were working, I believe. Terry.
yeah, they all worked. I'm thinking late 20s, 30s.
Okay.
And most of them played year after year after year. So they played on up into, some of them played up into their 40s.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. So there was a team, and you had to go to church, and then you played after church on Sunday. Who were the teams that you all, that they play against?
Canton had a team. Winston had another team. Carrollton. So it was most of the surrounding counties.
Oh, that sounds like fun. Councilman Davis, why didn't you play?
Well, I did. My dad wouldn't let me play with the pros. I wasn't good enough, so I played with the Douglasville Braves.
Oh, I never heard of the Douglasville Braves.
Crawford and Robert Crawford, Raymond Crawford. He was a pitcher. All the local young men that wasn't good enough to play on the Braves team.
Okay. So you started as a bat boy, and then what was the next step? I mean, what was the next?
Well, actually, my cousin Robert Chandler, he went to the park, Hunter Park, and so he knew I could play. He said, "Terry, come on out and play with me." So it would be, instead of just me being on the team, we had two blacks on the team.
Okay.
And so he taught me to go, and I went and tried out because I made it. And it turned out his birthday came late, so it turned out he was too old to play. So I ended up being on the black on the team myself.
So this was a baseball team at Hunter Park.
At Hunter Park.
So recreation, you had to try out for the team, and you were the only African American.
Yes.
Wow.
It was a
Pony League.
Douglasville Rebels.
Pony League.
Pony League.
That's the next step up to the, it
So
was called the big league.
Okay. So how long did you play there?
You know, you played. We played 12 and 13. Then we moved up to the next league, and a lot of the, you know, Brad Campbell, Bill Spike's son Skipper, he was on my team, and you know, we played from age 12 all the way through high school. We all stuck together.
Okay. So tell me, you were the only African American on the team. How did you feel being the only African American at that age?
Well, it was, the guys, I must say, the guys treated me like, I mean, I didn't really know I was black. That's how everybody, we were. And the parents were great to me. My father, he worked at night, so he wasn't able to come. And then my mom, she was too scared to come.
Because?
Well, just, being at night.
Right.
And driving by herself and that kind of stuff. And a lot of times, other than the games at Hunter Park, it was the surrounding parks in the county.
Okay.
And so she just stayed home. So I pretty much was there by myself.
Wow. So your teammates, you're like brothers.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Matter of fact, a lot of us are still real good friends.
Really? Are a lot of them still here?
Yes,
In
still in the
Douglasville?
county.
That's awesome. Oh, Councilman Davis, we'd have to remember to invite them sometime. That'd be great. So what happened after that? I'm really interested in.
Actually, Bill Fight, when I was 16, because I wasn't thinking about pro ball. I was just playing, maybe I could get a scholarship to go to college. And Bill Fight took me to a trial when I was 16 down in Macon. And then I think that's when it really, because I did well, and that's when I think the Baltimore Orioles put the camp on. And so that's when I really said, I might have a chance to do something with this. And then one thing led to another. When I was, I think going into the 10th grade, Coach Birchfield, he was the head, he coached football and baseball at Douglas County High School.
Okay.
He told me, he said, Terry, I want you to play for Bill Spike's team over the summer. And at that time, I was planning on playing with the pros.
Wow.
And he said, no, that ain't what you need to do. He said, you need to play with Bill. And I said, yeah, coach. But, it was a lot of pressure on me to play, across the tracks, on Sundays. And so he kind of grabbed me and said, no, you need to play with Bill's team. And so we kind of went back and forth, and eventually I ended up playing with Bill. And sure enough, I don't know what he saw, but that summer, I mean, my talent just kind of took off.
Wow.
And from then on, I was, I think I was State Player of the Year. I was actually, when I was in 11th grade, when we had the All-Stars, the Georgia All-Stars, I met Paul Snyder. He was like the Braves assistant general manager.
Okay.
And we had breakfast. And I wasn't even thinking about the Braves because, they never showed no interest, so I didn't really think they would. But what Paul was doing was he was kind of sizing me up and seeing what kind of person I was.
Right, okay.
And so but he never let on that, they was interested in me. So when it was time for me to get drafted, I thought the Baltimore Orioles were going to draft me. And then when the Braves drafted me, it was a big surprise.
So what an honor to play in Douglasville and Douglas County, and then to literally play in Atlanta. That's amazing. So you mentioned that there was a lot of pressure on you to play across the tracks. What do you mean by that?
Well, Alton and Barbara and Coach Sam Dad, Mr. Jesse, he had asked me to play. And by me being a bat boy and being around the team all those years, I just felt like I owe it to him to play. And, I was starting to get a little attention.
Oh, okay.
And so I just felt like I owed it to play, in the men's league.
Yeah. Councilman Davis, where were you in this when Terry started moving and moving up? Where were you during this time?
Terry was close to, we all was family and relatives. And when Terry started out, and I remember when I used to go to his house, his daddy had a tie in a tree. He wanted Terry to be a pitcher. Terry's father was swinging the tie real slow, and Terry's father had a catcher's mitt, and Terry would throw between that tie, and his daddy would catch him.
That's interesting. So that's how you were taught.
Well, yeah, and believe it or not, I was drafted as a pitcher.
Were you?
Yes,
Yes.
I was drafted as a pitcher.
What? Did
But
you?
his brother was better than he was.
Yeah, he
Now,
was.
which brother is that?
Willie. Now,
Okay.
Willie, but Willie come along where when every time he get drafted, instead of getting drafted for baseball, he got drafted to go in the Army. And see, back then, you didn't have no choice.
Right, and then he was your oldest brother.
Next to oldest.
Next, so if he was drafted, what were the possibilities of you being drafted or not being drafted?
Well, baseball, it's, if they think he's good enough, they don't care. They'll draft. I have several brothers that played, even in the Braves organization. So if they think he's good enough, they'll draft you.
Anyway, wow. So you get drafted for the Atlanta Braves. You are so humble. You're so humble. As long as I've known you, your character and your spirit has always been very humble, and you show much gratitude. Thank you for being such an example.
Thank you very much.
So you started playing for the Braves. So what was your starting salary?
I got my little signing bonus, and the guy used to kid me all the time because, being from Douglasville, hey, where is that? And they used to kid me. Yeah, Terry, he signed for a mule and a wagon.
Oh, no.
So they used to rip me all the time about that. And but I got my little signing bonus, but my first salary was $500 a month.
Really?
So and believe it or not, I saved some money too.
That's okay. So $500 a month. So were you paid based on your ability to pay, or is it that was like the going?
That was just the going salary.
Wow.
In the Braves. Each organization is a little bit different, but the Braves, with each step coming up through the minor leagues. See, I didn't even know about the minor leagues when I signed. But you got working. You start out rookie ball, then A ball, AA, and then AAA. But see, now they have 3 rookie balls, they have 3 A balls, they got a AA and AAA. So,
Wow.
So it makes it a little easier to work your way up.
So you have to the route would be a lot. It wouldn't just be an automatic sign on. You go through the ranks.
Well, it's matter of fact, the same year I signed, this guy David Clyde, he signed with the Texas Rangers. He was the #1 draft choice, and he actually went right from high school to the major leagues.
Wow.
But that's rare. That's rare. Most college guys can't do that.
That means you have to be like super great.
Yes.
So you were on the play for the Atlanta Braves. I know your parents were so excited.
Yes, they were. Dad, and Sam know, he's an avid baseball fan. And I remember he used to carry the radio around, the transistor radio, listen to the game. Because back then, there weren't that many games. It was televised.
Right.
So everything's on the radio. And he would just be fussing with whoever the managers were at that time. And he used to go to all the games with the Winston pros.
Wow.
And so he loved baseball. So when I got drafted and drafted by the Braves, it was it just felt good because he was such a Braves fan.
That is awesome. I remember my grandfather, and you're right, listening to the radio, and my dad listening to the radio to the Braves and to the Braves play. That's really cool. So when you signed your bonus, how many other African American men were on the team?
Actually, my first team, it was about between African Americans. It was, I guess, about 11 or 12 African American, and it was 3 Latino players.
Actually on the team? Oh, that was a big deal. And how
Yeah.
many players?
Actually made it to the major league.
Or how many players on the team? If you had 11 African American, that's out of how many?
Out of about 25.
Wow, that's a
on
pretty
team.
big deal.
Yeah.
And that was back in the early 70s?
73.
Oh, let me see. I was not even in middle school yet.
Terry, during the time that you were drafted, was there any difference in you as being an African American than any other? Did they show any? Did y'all have separate restrooms, separate quarters, or sleep? Did you stay on campus, or where did you all stay?
Well, the Braves, they had the Days Inn in West Palm Beach, Florida, and Actually, once I retired and started coaching, we were still at that same Days Inn. But most teams, they might have, I think now they got their own facilities. The new facility the Braves have, they got their own facility to house the players and that kind of stuff. And then, meal money, they gave meal money. We could go out and buy our own, but I think they kind of take care of that now. Actually, when I first started, Braves had this buffet in West Palm Beach, in the Civic Center there in West Palm. And the food was so bad that some of the Latino players, they would get the stuff and just throw it up against the wall.
Oh, gosh.
And, just kind of, they were so displeased with the food. And so eventually they started giving us meal money. And so that was much better. Only thing is, guys at that age, you don't, buy the right food and eat the right stuff. So. So it's good that they can control that because, now everything is about nutrition.
Yes, yes. So how long were you, so the Braves, that was your full-time, that's what you did full-time. That was until you retired?
Actually, I played, I was 14 years in the Braves organization.
Okay.
And then I was traded to Detroit and the Detroit Tigers. And then half of the season, I was it was so cold up in Detroit.
I can't imagine.
And they had me DHing, and so I wasn't playing in the field. And my I just don't sweat a whole lot. And in cold weather, if you can't get no moisture in your hands, it's hard to do anything. So at half of the season, they traded me to Pittsburgh. I was doing pretty good. I was hitting some home runs, driving some runs. But when Spark Anderson called me in the office and said they traded me to Pittsburgh, I mean, I feel like a weight was just come off my shoulder. I was so happy. I was back in the National League. Then at that time, all the American League ballpark was old, and I just felt like it was kind of dingy looking. But when at that time, the National League was kind of, the ballpark was newer, and and I had spent all my career in the National League, so I mean, it just felt so good. And when I went to Pittsburgh, I played well because I guess you feel good, you play good.
Right.
So I did well in Pittsburgh.
Wow. So during the time that you were with the Atlanta Braves, did you have any contact with the late Hank Aaron?
Well, actually, Hank was my minor league director.
Oh.
And he would come to the games, and actually, and at that time, I was one of the top prospects in the Braves minor league system. And Hank used to give me rides home after the games all the time. And he would talk to me about baseball and about being so young. At that time, I was like 19 or 20.
Wow.
And so he would give me some life, some life as far as living and stuff, advice. And he was, that's just how he was. He was just a giving person. And, I can remember those conversations now when we was riding, from the ballpark back to the hotel.
Wow, that is so awesome. Councilman Davis, you have any other questions for?
Yes, Terry mentioned Detroit Tigers. Did you ever meet Gate Brown?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. He wasn't playing at that time. He was more. They had my coach.
A coach. And I know you didn't ever knew this, but Gate Brown, my grandmother, that was Gate Brown was her nephew.
Wow, what a
Lloyd
small
Davis,
world.
Vanderloo Davis.
Yeah.
That was Gate Brown was Vanderloo Davis, my grandmother's nephew, her sister's son.
Well,
Gates Brown.
Wow, what a
he
small
was
world.
he was a humble person. He was such a good guy. That's what I found about from Hank to Gates to the Phil Negro, all those guys. Baseball players seem to be so humble. I guess because it's, you got to work your way up through the minor league system, and just for instance, the year I drafted, I think it was 60 players that was drafted that year.
Wow, that's a lot.
And only 3 of us made to the major leagues.
Wow.
And that just show you how the fall off. And but I guess guys work their way up and have their careers in the major leagues. I guess it's a humbling experience. So most guys are so down to earth, and it just and that's what I remember about Hank. You never knew he was a home run champion. Hank he was just so humble, and he never talked about himself.
That's you. Sounds just like you. So those life lessons are embedded in your heart because you're the same way.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're the same way. So what are you doing now? So the Braves, you're not doing playing baseball, but
well, I'm retired, but I do like still working with kids, and so I like to start when they at least in that 10 to 12 range, and most kids. I ain't had one that he started me. He was 5.
wow.
And but usually that's too young for most kids. But this little guy was so focused. I mean, he could absorb everything I said.
Wow.
And now he's playing at Princeton. He want to be a brain surgeon.
You were with him that long? That is awesome.
And so I got several kids. I've had kids that play pretty much every university in the state. Guys, depends on their talent level. I got a couple now. I got one that's going to University of Georgia. I got one that's going to University of Kentucky. I got a couple going to Ivy League schools. Got a couple going to schools like West Georgia, Lee's College up in Tennessee. I think it's in Tennessee. So they scattered out all over the place. So I enjoy that because when I'm doing one-on-one with kids, most of them you just don't know which ones that gonna love it enough to where they'll put the time in to be good at it. Right.
Well, I tried to play softball when I was younger. It didn't work. Do you think there's some pointers you could probably give me now?
Oh yeah. Matter of fact, I've had softball players.
Really?
Too. Actually, I got one now. She's in 10th grade, and when her brother wants to go to University of Kentucky, she started when she was little. She didn't want no part of hitting lesson, and but as she got, I guess, a couple years ago, I helped her, and she went out and got a few hits, and then I had her then. So
well,
now,
I'm definitely not high school. I was just thinking mainly for just the exercise.
Yeah. Well, it really don't. The swing's the same. So most people, I can look at them and kind of tell. What I need to work on. So
I may take you up on that. Maybe Councilman Davis and I'll play. What do you think, Councilman Davis?
It has to be 6 and over.
I'll let Councilman out.
and Council Lady, I tell you, the most memorable moment I've known Terry, and when that 3-2 pitch, and the bases loaded. Tell us a little bit about that, Terry. Tom Seaver.
Well, yeah, Tom. He's one of my idols when I was coming up. When I was on, I was on the pitching side, and so we would play in spring training. We would scrimmage against the Red because they was in Tampa, and but anyway, so I was comfortable hitting off of him. I think the last time I had faced him, I think I was like 4 for 4. So I was comfortable.
You come to the bat.
Yeah. So I was, I could see good out his hand. And so when I faced him, in a real game, I was, just comfortable. And home runs. I like what Ken Griffey Jr. said. He said, home runs just ball that you don't square it up good. You miss it just a little bit.
Oh, that's cool.
And I missed that a little bit, and I got it up in the air, and it carried over the fence.
So bases were loaded. Here comes Terry Harper.
And that's YouTube. You can Google it now.
Right now? Oh, wow.
Yes.
We got to add that in here. So bases were loaded. What was the feeling after that home run?
Well, my job as a hitter is to drive in runs, especially if you hit 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, in the middle of the lineup. And so even though my average might not have been, most guys that hit 300 and higher, most of them, they're not power hitters. And so I considered myself a RBI. That was my job, driving runs. So that was my focus.
So you were trained to do that.
Yes.
That was your focus.
And some guys good at it. Some guys they good at hitting for average. And so I pride myself in being able to drive and runs.
I can't wait to watch that on YouTube. Councilman Davis, you have any other memorable moments?
I have so many. I have so many with Terry growing up here in Douglasville. Terry, tell us about the schools you went to here in Douglasville.
Start out, what is it, on Forest Avenue? Is it Hudson Avenue?
Hutchinson High.
Hudson High.
You was over at the Simpson Old Pier Home. You started
First and second grade.
High?
Wow.
Yes, Hudson High. And then when third grade, that's when they brought us over to Stewart. And so from third up until
R.L. Cousin.
yes,
She
R.L.
been
Cousin.
R.L. Cousin.
Yeah, R.L.
Okay.
Cousin. So from third to the sixth grade, I was at R.L. Cousin. And then when we integrated, that's when I went to Burnett, East Side.
Oh, you went to East Side, so you didn't go to Douglas County yet.
No,
You were still at
for
Burnett.
seventh and eighth grade was East Side.
Okay.
And then when I went to ninth, that's when I went to Douglas County.
And those schools are still here. Well, Hutchinson High is now Simpson Mortuary, but the original building is still there. And then you have R.L. Cousin is now Stewart Middle School. But East Side and Burnett, they're still there.
They're still here.
You know, and I actually went to both of those schools.
Oh.
Yeah, I went to East
Well,
Side and
I guess
Burnett.
we just not too over the hill then.
Yeah, I jumped from R.L. Cousin to Douglas County doing the integration, and it was great. And Terry, a lot of people didn't know Terry was a heck of a basketball player.
Were you?
Terry would slam on you with a breakaway.
Well, you know, one thing we did was, Sam didn't say, but over his house was, you know, they had like a full court basketball.
What?
So, you know, it was dirt.
It was dirty.
And so we used to, I don't know how we used to get over there, but I guess we used to walk. But some kind of way we got over there. And we'd be out there running down that court all day. And so I learned how to play basketball doing that. And so I had several scholarships to play basketball.
And you chose baseball.
Well, baseball came easier for me.
Wow,
And
just
so
humble.
I knew that was
Wow,
that
you're
was
just
what
a
it was.
natural, you just created to play baseball.
Yeah. Matter of fact, Reverend Kincaid at Golden United
I
Methodist.
remember him.
When I guess I was about 11 or 12, he saw me run around and catch the ball. He said, you know, you're going to make some money out of this one day.
Wow.
And
You
know,
weren't even
I
thinking
didn't. I
that.
wasn't even thinking about that. And then I always think about that now. He was the first one that kind of put that in my head.
That is so awesome. So you had 7 brothers. Or
no.
a total of 7 brothers. You would be one of the 7, right?
Actually, 4 brothers, and then Barbara. And then we had twins that died.
Okay. So, so Judge Caldwell, you say Barbara. She was the oldest.
Next oldest.
Next, and who was the oldest?
Tommy, he's passed. He was the
Okay.
oldest.
And where are you in the
I'm the youngest.
baby? So she told me a great story, and I don't know why, but she did tell me that she had to whip your behind. Can you tell us of maybe one time she may have had to do that?
She was mean as a snake. I ain't gonna.
Not mean as a snake, not our Barbara.
Yeah. Oh, she was tough on me. I'll tell you when she's also my teacher over at East Side, and we went on speaking terms back then. I'm telling you, she used to pick on me all the time.
Well, I tell you.
But actually, I got another story. We was at home, and some guy was trying to break in the house, and he came to the door and act like he was back then the guy used to come to the house and sell policies,
Insurance policies.
So he had like he was a salesman, and so when Barbara was talking, she said that don't sound right, and so he was on one side of the house, so we snuck out the other side, and I couldn't keep up, and so she said, well, jump on my back. And so she jumped on my back, and I don't know if y'all know where my aunt's house, Aunt Ola's house. It's down the road. She probably about 400 or 500 yards, and so I jumped on her back, and she carried me all the way to my aunt's house.
Wow.
And so she probably forgot that,
She
but
made sure that her little
yeah.
brother was going to be okay.
she took care. I don't know how old I was, but I must not have been too old. She was able to put me on her back and then run over to my aunt. And see, my aunt, she didn't play, Aunt Ola, she said, she went and got her shotgun. Come on, let's go.
Oh yeah, she could
funny.
shoot and Ida too.
Oh, she didn't play.
So you all lived in the same neighborhood?
No, we being cousins. We just stayed at each other's house.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
My mother and his mother was
With best
just like
friends.
sisters.
Yeah.
And they have flown to Terry games. Terry said he'd be playing after the game. He see him walk out.
Aw.
Yeah. Jesse and his mom. I look up and hey, Terry, and I said, "Oh,
That
what
is
y'all
so
doing?"
cool. That is
so-
cool.
I don't know how they got there or what, where the money come from, but they always would go. And the guys that play with Terry got to know him. Terry people.
Yeah, I remember one time we was in Montreal. I looked up and there they were.
So Terry, you know, now all of us are still dealing with this pandemic. But prior to the pandemic, I know that you were working very diligently on getting some teams here in Douglasville. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, we played. I played in Dominican. Dominican has a winter league. The weather's great down there.
Right.
It's in the Caribbean island, and so I would go down there and play like from November to January, and so I know how poor it is over there. And so one of my friends, he worked at Girls and Boys Club, Kevy, and he said, Terry, let's go. It's so poor in Dominican. Either you got something or you don't have anything. And so he said, well, he had his friend was going to bring. Actually, they was going to go play in New York, and so Kevin talked me into coming to Atlanta. So it was just a way of getting them to come over here. And I had got the Braves. They was going to let us come down. They was going to tour the ballpark. They were going to let them watch the take batting practice, and they was going to give us the tickets for free for them to get in.
Okay.
And actually, they was going to let them come out on the field.
Wow. So is that still a goal of yours?
Well, that was a goal, but with the virus, it just kind of just squashed all that. So
Right.
hopefully, once all this stuff is over with, we can get it back started.
That would be really, really nice. So Councilman Davis, I give you the honor of announcing what the city of Douglasville is doing to honor Terry.
Okay.
Since you're the assistant parks
listen, there's so much.
co-chair.
There's so much that we could do for Terry, but I feel it's coming up in the. I believe it'd be later on this summer.
Or in the spring.
Yes, that we are naming one of the fields after the all-time great Terry Harper.
Yeah.
And I hope I'd be the one to throw the ball out.
Oh, well, thank you.
That is so cool. It's so long overdue.
Oh, well, thank you. It's such an honor to be able to be honored that way. I tell you, it's a humbling experience.
Well, it is very well deserved.
Well, thank you very much.
And the great thing about it is we are so happy that you're here to see this, to see it, to see, and your children and your grandchildren and your siblings can see the footprint that you've left in and still leaving in Douglasville, because you live in Douglasville, right? Yeah, you live in Douglasville. That's awesome. So Terry, tell us a little bit about your family. We talked about your siblings.
Well, I got two daughters. One is she moved up to Charlotte. She's real successful. She's done well. We real proud of her. She's a dentist.
Okay.
And then my youngest daughter, we just as proud. She's a teacher, elementary school at New Manchester Elementary.
That is amazing.
So we real proud of both girls.
Absolutely. So what did you bring with you today? Is this the last shirt that you wore?
Well, no, this is my number. Actually, this is what they wear now.
Oh, really?
And and so I do stuff from time to time with they want me to go out and do some appearances, and so sometimes it requires me to have my jersey.
Okay.
And then we'll do Alumni Weekend and Alumni Sunday, and so the Braves, they keep us real active, the old guys. So they kind of it's a Braves, I must say, is a big family. I'm playing the other organization, and the Braves are, it's got a special place in my heart because it's so family oriented.
That's great. So you're just family for life.
Yes.
That's awesome. So you're team number 19.
19.
So did you bring something else?
I just want to say, in number 19, and I was in Chicago, and I wasn't playing that game, and I was sitting watching, and they said, "Happy birthday, number 19, Terry Harper." And my birthday is on the 19th. and you know, that's the first time I put that together.
Really? I was going to ask, how are you assigned a number? Is it random or
Just random.
Just random. Okay, so this is the
Birthday on
number
the
19.
19th.
Yeah.
Wow, that's 19 is your
19th
birthday.
of January or February? What?
August 19th.
Oh, wow.
Actually, my family, everybody's birthday pretty much in August. August or January.
Wow, we know when your parents are busiest.
Yes.
So did you bring anything else with you?
Well, I got close to the Atlanta Braves hat, and this is my old bat here.
Back for years and years ago.
Is that the last bat you were batting with?
I had this one. Actually,
Can I see it?
my
I can't
last
see it
bat
out
was in, I played in Japan.
Okay.
And so I got some bats
Wow.
that I had when I played in Japan.
Oh, it has your name on it. Okay.
And I'm going to tell you a little story
This was
about
handcrafted just for
Yes,
you. Okay.
And
Thank you.
actually, my last playing was I played in Japan, and the hotel I stayed in, believe it or not, Mike Tyson, he was fighting over there at that time, and so he invited me to come to his sparring match. You know when he was preparing for the fight, and so I got a chance to go watch him spar.
Oh, cool.
I guess he sparred with the guy actually they had about 4 or 5 guys they sparred with. And actually one of the guys, I asked that guy, I said, "Oh, who is that guy?" Because he was tearing Mike up. I mean, he was good. He said, "Oh, that guy, he practiced like that, but when the real bell come on, you know, the same guy don't show up." Yeah. And you know, it turned out that guy ended up being world champion.
What?
And and I always remember that guy said, "Yeah, when the real lights come on, they're the same guy." I don't know how he got world champion, but he was fighting Lennox Lewis, I think his name. And he walked across the coast, and Lennox pow, and the fight, and the guy quit.
I guess I probably would have.
Yeah, I said, and then I thought about this guy. He said, "Yeah, he fight like this in practice, but when the real lights come on." That was the first thing I thought of when that guy told me that. But I got a chance to meet Mike. You know, Mike. He didn't come to one of my games over in Japan. I got a chance to meet Muhammad Ali.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't realize how big Muhammad Ali is. You know, I'm almost 6'2", and I shook hands. I mean, my hands are pretty big. I mean, my hand I feel like a little pea in his hand.
Really?
His hand was so big.
Wow.
And he had to be about 6'3". He's tall.
I didn't realize he was that tall.
Yeah, me either. And I'm shaking hands with him. I'm looking up. I said, "Whoa, I didn't realize you were this big." But he was so humble. He was so humble.
Too. I guess my other question is the Braves moved from Atlanta to Cobb. And it was the Battery, and now it's Harper. Yeah. But you know, so how's that transition been, in your opinion?
Well, you know, I kind of sad that it's not downtown.
Yeah.
But you know, the facilities over in Cobb, I mean, it's actually they want to do the same thing at Turner Field.
Oh, okay.
But the city,
Just didn't work out.
It didn't work out. So they ended up moving to Cobb, and now all the major league teams are looking at that facilities over there.
At the model? Okay.
And they want to duplicate it.
It's absolutely beautiful. I mean, I've been to Turner Field. I miss it being downtown as well, but in Cobb, I mean, you have the eateries. It is just, you walk in there, it like
blows you away,
Brave
doesn't it?
fever. Yes, yes.
And they want to do the same thing around Turner Field.
Okay.
Yeah, they want
Even
to do the
now?
same
They wanna
thing.
do-
No, back when they want to stay at Turner Field, well, they want to do the same thing, but get the city thought it was too much.
Because now Turner Field is it Georgia State?
Georgia State.
Okay.
Actually, they football field now.
Oh, is it? Okay. I haven't even been since the Braves left, but I have to say it'd be nice to, live right there, and you can just look out your balcony and watch the game. Hank Aaron's statue is down there. I think when I went, the last time I was there, I was in the in a box with Hank Aaron, and I tell you, I felt so special up there watching me. You could just see the field right there. It's just really nice.
Yeah,
it's been a couple of years ago.
Yeah, those suites, it's almost like you sitting on the field.
Just beautiful.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I think I went to a game with you once, an alumni game. That was a lot of hot. It was at Turner Field. It was good. It
But
was
you know,
really good.
I must say, the alumni, Braves do an excellent job taking care of the alumni.
So your alumni are very, very active. Very,
We do
okay.
stuff off and on around the city.
Okay.
You know, some of the guys, most of the time, we might do something with the police department, fire department, boys and girls club. So it's kind of a wide range of things
Okay.
that Braves get involved with in the community.
So are they only limited to, or very limited to the city of Atlanta, or?
No, they get out in all over.
Okay,
Matter of
so
fact, they do fields. I know they did one at Powder Springs. So I went to the opening
oh, okay,
at Powder Springs. They got the little ballpark right before you go over the
the tracks,
track.
right?
And you know, that was my first. And back then it was just a field out there then, Sam. But that was my first. That was my first ever game. Was played
Right
on
there.
that field. Yes.
Wow, that's only about a half hour from here. Not even that long. Well, that sounds like an idea that when we start preparing to have the ceremony, sounds like we need to get some of your alumni guys out here. What do you think, Councilman Davis?
Yeah, I'm
That
gonna
would be
call some
awesome.
of his friends that I know, especially William Andrews. They just love Terry. and I got a question, Terry. Did you collect baseball cards?
I do have, from time to time people will send me cards and stuff even now. And I don't know how people get your address and all that, but it's just amazing how, I played back in the 80s. That's a long time ago. And, but, I get requests to sign cards. I get some pretty much every week.
Wow.
And then there's a calendar out. I don't know if you remember Terry Harper's calendar.
Is there? I haven't seen
Yeah, I
it.
remember
I
that.
know someone got a Terry Harper calendar.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
I ain't seen that.
He called me and he said, "You think this worth any money?" I looked at it. I said, "Yeah." He got a Terry Harper calendar.
That is cool.
Yeah, it's a bit amazing. Some of the baseball fans. I still. I was in my daughter's house in North Carolina, and a guy, I guess in Pittsburgh, he sent me stuff. It took me an hour to sign all that stuff,
Wow.
and all the different paraphernalia that people. Because a lot of those people are Pirate fans, so the little brief time that I was with the Pirates, it's to be amazing how some of the baseball collectors,
Wow.
how they like to keep that stuff.
Well, I know
Amazing.
we are so honored, Terry, and you've spoken to students in schools, even here in Douglas County, and then you're active as an active board member with Higher Standards Foundation.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of the things that because Barbara, she so active in the community, and she's always want to help people, and some of the people that's high standards, we try to help people that's been incarcerated.
Yes.
And so it was just a natural fit to kind of, that's how we was taught to, try to get out in the community and try to help people.
Give
so
back.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember the golf tournament that you did so well putting together at Mirror Lake. That was a lot of work.
Yes,
You did a great
yes,
job. Takes
yeah.
almost about a year
Yeah.
or more to put together.
Yeah, I tell you, if we could have kept that going, because as people the work get out and you can keep it going, it really can really grow.
So do you play golf a lot too?
That's not my thing. I get some of the players. It's pretty much a golf tournament going on somewhere pretty
Yeah,
much every
right.
week. I mean, but I just never could to get into golf. Actually, I like coaching kids and developing kids. So I'd rather be doing that than be out on the golf course.
That's great. Well, you definitely have a lot that you can share and impart in these kids, and I know they're great and happy to have the opportunity to work with you. And it's amazing that some of them start with you as young as elementary, and you get to
Yeah.
see them through middle school, high school, and on to college.
And
That is
ain't
amazing.
a few that's playing pro ball.
Wow.
So yeah, it's just amazing how but the years just fly by. Sometimes they walk out the door, they coming right here on me, and then they walk in, they up here over me. I mean, I got two now One is almost 6'5", the other 6'6".
6'5".
Yes, and like I said, they walk in, they down here, and then now I'm looking up at them. I mean, it's just amazing how they just sprout up.
That is great.
But I enjoy developing guys.
You ever communicate with Link Martin?
You know, every now and then I run into him. You know, Lincoln, he's an excellent coach. He's an excellent coach, and because actually I got a kid. He was drafted by the Cincinnati Reds last year, and Lincoln worked with him. He's a middle infielder, and actually I sent him to Lincoln because Lincoln is real good. He's a good teacher.
Did Lincoln go pro ball?
He played some pro ball.
Okay.
I don't know if he made it to the major leagues, but he played.
Did make it to the major leagues.
He did. Okay.
I can't think of who he played with, but
now he was in the Orioles organization.
he was an outfielder.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was. I remember Lincoln
outfield,
playing.
middle
In,
infield.
He was the graduate of Lithia Springs.
Yeah.
That's right.
He's from Douglas County too.
But
It's good to know that he's still
an
involved.
excellent teacher.
He was great. Terry, I hope you don't mind when guys come in there talking about their son great baseball. I have sent you several people from the barbershop, and they're amazed how you have worked with their kid.
Yeah, people don't realize baseball. It's just, you know, no matter what kind of athlete you are, it just takes time to develop to be a hitter. And, you know, that's why pro teams have minor league programs, and they like to get kids. Actually, they like to get guys as young as they can get them because it takes time to develop them. So yeah, I enjoy that part. You know, I've you know, when I was coaching the Braves, you know, even Chipper Jones, you know, he was when he was switch hitting his first year. Well, that was the only time I was able to coach him a little bit. But Chipper was he struggled so much in rookie ball that he wanted to stop hitting on his left side. That's how far he came. All of a sudden, he's an all-time probably switch hitter. But you know, hitting for averaging home runs. He's one of the all-time hitters, and he wanted to give up hitting on his left side. So that just shows you how it just takes time.
Takes time.
Last time we was here at an interview, you had 2 or 3 of your friends, and which one was a pitcher? Was it Marvin Freeman?
Marvin Freeman. Actually, he was on that championship, the world champion team, '95. He was
with
on
the
that
Braves.
Team.
And he hit one of your friends with the ball.
Yeah, matter of fact, Gerald, my other friend that was with me last time. I think Gerald was with St. Louis at that time, and
Tell
Marvin.
the story
As
about
a pitcher.
Yeah, Marvin was a pitcher. Gerald he played first base, and Marvin I think he was with Colorado at that time, and then Gerald with St. Louis. And I think the first time up, Gerald hit a home run. Yeah. And you know, Marvin, he's real competitive now. So next time up, Marvin drilled him.
Oh gosh.
We had a good laugh that day.
Yeah.
That is great. Well, I wish we had more time. We could just go on and on. And just to our viewing audience, stay tuned for late spring or early summer, the dedication of a baseball field located at Hunter Park right here in the city of Douglasville in honor of none other but the greatest baseball player, our friend, Terry Harper.
Thank you very much.
Hometown.
I tell you.
Terry
Hometown.
Harper.
Thank
You're
you,
making my
Terry.
head swell.
You have
Never.
anything you want to say before we close this segment out, Terry?
Well, I tell you, it's an honor to be here sitting with you, LaShawn and you, Sam. I tell you, I really enjoyed it, and I appreciate it.
We appreciate you too.
We appreciate you.
All right, Councilman Davis, we've gotten one more under our belt. 2021. Look forward to 2022.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right.